Good morning, everyone. First sip draft for Upside Football Sunday, the last one before Thanksgiving. I love it. I got a little coffee in my cup today. No beer for me. I can't do it in the morning, Chris. I'm not a Superman. I'm not a Superman, Chris.
I mean, I didn't today too. This is the first sip without. I've got 2 cups of coffee in me, so I went real hard Friday, real hard.
Yeah, coffee for me too.
I mean, I know it's Sunday, but it's an overhang of said activities.
Well, I got my last bet in. Are you happy now, Chris?
Ecstatic.
I know, right? I'm ready. I'm ready for the week. So, just the last argument I was on with somebody online here, man, was PPR, Gio or McKissick this week.
I mean, they're pretty equal. I mean, I think I don't think I lean one way or the other. I like. Do you believe that McKissick's going to get another 15 targets? That's just hard to kind of project as a real fact, and that's something that's super noisy.
Yeah, I like it. I like it anyways. McKissick for me. Boom. Man, I saw all my lineups Friday night. I haven't looked since then. So what have you guys been thinking about this last couple of hours leading up to lock? Any big game changes? You still like that Pittsburgh team? You still like that Cincinnati stack? Anything changed?
No, I mean I'm still targeting basically Cincinnati, and then running it back with Washington, Pittsburgh, running it back with Jacksonville. Did move over to Julio from Ridley. Like Miles Sanders a lot. But yeah, I mean, I really haven't changed much from my article. So
yeah, and you can get access to our articles if you go to fantasyfootballblueprint.com. Sign up. You can get all of Chris's DraftKings building blocks. We've got Reginald's FanDuel building blocks. We've got open a bottle of bourbon, chug half of it, and listen to Johnny Danger's tipsy picks. Got all kinds of great stuff over there. But how you doing in any of your seasonal leagues, Mark? You got any spots you're struggling with?
Oh, I don't. My seasonal leagues all suck. I'm like 500 in all of them.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got some injuries. Maybe you guys can help me out with here. And go back. Look where I was at. So we've been talking about this all week in our chat, but I've got that flex spot. I got to pick Harris from New England, Hines, Jerry Jeudy, Gallup, Pittman. I keep kind of going back and forth between Hines and Harris, kind of where I'm leaning. Harris's injury kind of freaks me out a little bit. Is there any news updated to that? It says he's expected to play, but you got Sony Michel coming back off IR. I mean, is that bugging you at all? You still thinking Harris? That's where we kind of landed on earlier in the week.
Man, I hate your bench, and I hate the fact that we have to see it every single week as you send the same question every single week.
It is.
Like pick up some better players, give us some better decisions, or just drop them so you don't have decisions. Jeez.
There isn't any better players. That's the sad part. That is the sad part. No, the starting guys are great. It's just that flex spot. I'm in second place, though. I got to win my money back with that regular season championship. You know, it's important.
Yeah.
Can I get that bye?
Yeah, no, I haven't given it a ton of thought. Most of my leagues are pretty bad, just like Mark. I have one that's good, and the decisions are pretty clear and concise there. Wide receivers are questionable, but they're all good choices that I have to choose from, not bad choices like you.
I mean, they're not necessarily bad choices. Harris was great until he had that kind of nagging injury, and then Sony Michel came back. And I mean, the problem with Hines is he needs that kind of be a high-scoring game, and I'm still kind of down on that game, even with Adams cleared to play.
Yeah.
Although I will admit I put a couple of Rodgers-Adams lineups in my 20 stacks.
Well, I am excited for you then. I haven't built many of those yet. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can go Hines, you can go Harris. It just, you're the GM, man. You make the call.
So helpful. Help a bunch of guys. I can't wait to help people with their questions. You guys are so helpful. Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, you ask us this question every single day, so like we've already answered it.
Well, I know, but now this is the important day. None of the other days matter.
It hasn't changed.
Today is the day.
The same. I am absolutely mystified by some of the ownerships. The last couple of weeks when I've been putting together stuff, and I go back and I look at the ownership and try and figure out like why I'm so chalky in these places. This week is not one of those weeks. I went and looked at ownership, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is going on here at running back? What did I miss?" And I'm looking at it. I didn't miss anything. This is just stupid. This is the a lot of you fantasy players have been playing really stupid things for the bulk of the year, and it's been paying off. And you're going to do it again right here. Not that I'm innocent of doing that. Ever since Lou talked me into Le'Veon Bell, I feel like I've been on a downward spiral where money is just burning as it leaves my pockets. But that's all changing this week.
So you're saying you're not a fan of Kalen Ballage and Duke Johnson as the number 2 and number 3 most owned players?
No, just going down this list, Keelan Ballage, no thanks. Duke Johnson, I'll pass. Antonio Gibson, yeah, don't see me with that one. Adrian Peterson, okay. Mike Davis, I think we've proven why that's a bad play at 7K. Zeke, okay. Aaron Jones against Indianapolis, where he's probably not even going to get 50% of the touches, and Jamal Williams is going to have a massive role. Okay, yeah. How many times have we seen Alvin Kamara, go for 27 plus points? Doesn't happen. James Robinson, that's okay. Gio Bernard, that's okay. That's where it starts getting kind of interesting. McKissick, I don't have a problem with. Miles Sanders, I like above and beyond all of these guys, and he's way down there. So, we just had to dip real deep to get into the running back. I don't like the running back position at all this week, but
no,
I don't like this ownership either. And then, you go over to this wide receiver page. What? Like Jacoby Myers? Like why?
I mean, he's a fine play. It's fine. I mean, not at 22% owned, I guess, right?
After you get past him, I don't have a problem with Adams, Allen, McLaren, Cooks, Jefferson, Thomas, Julio, Deontay. Actually, like the wide receivers kind of fill out the way that they kind of should, except for like Tyler Boyd way down here at 8%. This is kind of crazy that he's so low. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I ended up with mostly Terry McLaurin and Cooks, I think, are my 2 highest guys in those 20 lineups. I do have a fair share of Jacoby Myers just because of the price point he's at, but I don't think I have a quarter of my lineups with him in there.
Yeah, and then I think a huge leverage spot here coming in at 1.2% ownership projected is AJ Green at 3,500 or 3,600. Look, I don't expect AJ Green to just come out and smash every single week, but if this happens to be one of the weeks where he gets 10, 15 targets, which is just completely possible, wouldn't you want to be on that for 3,500? Like this guy could legitimately go for over 20 points. We're not talking a guy that you're injecting into your cash lineup here. We're talking you're making 20 lineups. You should have some AJ Green. Like 1% is way too low. Kind of almost feel the same way about T.Y. Hilton at this point. We've talked about him earlier in the year. Like, when is this going to happen? And we're like, nah, we're not going to play T.Y. Hilton. He's washed. But like, he's getting into bad wide receiver price territory. Like, he's a bad wide receiver, but certainly has pop-off capability. We haven't seen it, but you just need 12 points at this point. And then he doesn't.
He can get 10 or 11 without getting in the end zone. He touches the end zone, and it's game on.
Well, and there's been some talks coming out of Colts country about coverages just being kind of rolled over to Hilton, and that's why the passes and targets haven't been there. But if those roll away and something else happens, look, he's still getting 5 to 6 targets, which certainly wasn't something that we wanted at 5-6K, but we're almost sub 4K at this point. Like, it's completely plausible. He really just needs one. So again, really GPP dart throw, borderline tipsy, but it's like a buzzed bit for sure.
Let's get into the hot topic of the week. David Oliver says, do I start Taysom Hill in the tight end on an ESPN non-PPR league? If so, Darren Waller, Mike Williams, or Parker or Lamb in the flex? I mean, you kind of have to, right? I mean,
just
square kind of thing.
Based on all the indications that we've gotten, I think you do have to play Taysom Hill in the tight end. I told you guys I was going to play on FanDuel this week, but then I saw this whole Taysom Hill fiasco happen, and I was like, nah, I'm just not interested in it because I think there is an inherent tremendous amount of risk. Somebody pointed out on Twitter, I saw, do we remember when Teddy Bridgewater was supposed to lose the spot and it was going to be Taysom Hill, and then Taysom Hill came out and played 0 snaps? Yeah, I do remember that now that we talk about it. So, this could be a situation where your disgusting take that Jameis outscores Taysom is actually factual. But there's that possibility that Taysom comes out and, rushes for 80 yards and throws for 120, looks like Tim Tebow, and, he's going to be the top tight end in that case. So, yeah, absolutely. And then you play Darren Waller. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on Waller. Waller is in 80% of those 20 lineups for me for tight end. I just said, screw it, I'm paying up.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I love it. But, hey, and just so you know, I mean, I have earned the right for my awful takes this year. Thank you.
It's especially nice that you're wearing that, seeing that you are a 49ers fan. And
I am.
And they're in the same division. But I guess the futility of this season for you makes it a little bit easier to put that hat on.
Hey, man, I would rather it be the Rams than I would want it to be the Cardinals or the Seahawks. So it's all good.
Well, just remember that when making your recommendations. If you have a hot take, you just keep it to yourself sometimes.
I love it. Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I like Darren Waller. I mean, I can make a case for Mike Williams too. Mike Williams is perfectly fine, but I do have Waller about 1.5 more points than Mike Williams, so it's Waller for me in the flex.
Mark? I think Waller's more consistent too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking for there. You're looking at a floor that has the same type of ceiling. Mike Williams has a great ceiling. So does Parker, but both of these guys have, significantly lower floors. Lamb's in that offense with 3 different guys. If we had a more competent quarterback throwing to him, then yeah, certainly I'd be interested, but not over the other guys.
I'm not going to lie, man. It would not shock me to see Dallas win that game, but I just don't know how it's going to shake out. So I'm not putting my money on any of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate them if you're running it back. Like, you want to bring somebody back with Dalvin Cook. You want Dalvin Cook to score 3 or 4 touchdowns. Guys on the Cowboys are going to have to deliver as well. I mean, this can't be like a 14-0 game and expect the Cowboys to come out shooting. But like, if the Cowboys can score, like, Dalton's not a completely incapable quarterback, so like it's not out of the realm of possibility that one of these guys does something. And they're all pretty cheap in DFS. So
yeah, I mean, you're looking at Gallup at what, 3,800.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have a couple guys that, one of the challenges that I had when I was building the early lineups was I just had so much salary left over. And it was, I'd get to defense and I'd have like 6,000 left because guys were super cheap. There are guys that shake out as interesting plays like Chris Conley, AJ Green.
Yeah.
There are other guys in the late games too, like Jakeem Grant.
I had that same problem, Chris. So I ended up kind of going back and putting like 75% Dalvin Cook in my lineups because I was like, I have all this money. I might as well just shove Dalvin Cook everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he's the high-priced running back that I'm the most interested in. I really don't have a huge interest in Alvin Kamara. I mean, I think that there are certainly routes for him to be successful, but I don't know. That price tag just seems way too high. You look back at some of the really positive situations that he had this year, just alone this year. And yeah, he would have paid off in those monster games against Green Bay and Las Vegas. But outside of that, if he's not scored 2 touchdowns, he's not doing this for you. And
right.
That's the reality of it. And can we guarantee 2 touchdowns? No, we can't, because Taysom Hill is just going to be there and just running it. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's weird. I could easily see him between 20 and 24 points. Sure, no problem. But that doesn't pay off what you have to pay to play him. That's the problem.
Look, at some point, like, I guess if you're thinking all these 3K guys are going to smash, then like, yeah, he's fine. If he gets 24, it's no big deal. If Chris Conley goes out and does 20, they pick up the points for you somewhere else. So there is something to say about raw points. You can very easily do a Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara lineup, and then just kind of build from there, if that's the route that you want to take. But
true enough. Where did you end up in like the middle of the road for your wide receivers? I mean, I like the top end guys that we already talked about. I like the bargain basement guys we just talked about. But who's your bread and butter this week? Who's that like 5,000 to 5,600 kind of guys that you really kind of fell in with? Mark, what did you end up falling on?
Deontay Johnson. I'm looking at my lineups right now. I mean, I ended up with a lot of Keenan Allen, and Deontay Johnson is kind of my mid-range guy that I wound up with in most of these. I have some Claypool mixed in there.
I ended up on a lot of Cooks, Mike Williams, Deontay Johnson.
I have some Mike Williams.
Yeah, in that mid-range.
yeah, I think the other guy that you guys haven't mentioned is Tyler Boyd.
Yes. I do have a little Tyler Boyd, but I did pivot a couple of those to AJ Green and upgrade to Dalvin Cook. So I have less than what I started with based on your recommendation this week. So he's probably safe to blow up for you since I kind of took him out of all my lineups.
Yeah, I mean, and he's just a guy that, keep in mind next year, like he's going to be drafted so low in seasonal league, but he's, a fringe wide receiver one every single year for the last couple of years, and people just don't give him the credit that he's due. And this offense is going to be built around him and Joe Burrow. T. Higgins is a great, secondary receiver, or going to be a primary receiver. Boyd's a different type of receiver, slot guy. So, Boyd at 5,600 is just stupid cheap. Like, I just looked at his game logs and I'm thinking, wow, man, okay, well, he doesn't hit 18. Why doesn't he hit 18? He's at 56. This guy can easily go off for 20 to 30 points, and he's going to be in the millionaire maker lineup in that case. It's going to happen.
It's criminally underowned and underpriced.
Yeah, the other guy is if you're going Dalvin Cook, I think Justin Jefferson's an interesting correlation play. I mean, at that point, you are probably running it back with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, or CeeDee Lamb. But Jefferson has done well in the games that Dalvin Cook has done well. Adam Thielen is not. I mean, for Adam Thielen to have his good games, it has not been coming off of volume in the passing game. It's been coming off of volume catching touchdowns. And when he's caught those touchdowns, the guy that has not caught the touchdowns is Justin Jefferson. The guy that has not gotten into the end zone is Dalvin Cook. It's kind of an either or. It's kind of like the whole Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry situation that we've talked about, is that they correlate so negatively that I even have a hard time looking at them as guys that you could theoretically put together to try and get an edge because of that negative correlation.
Yeah, here's my thing with that. I was looking at both those guys today in a discussion with another show host, and we were just talking about what your preference is between several different wide receivers, and I kind of broke down Adam Thielen and Jefferson, and Thielen's got a safer floor. I mean, he's getting double-digit DraftKings points in 6 of 9 games, where it's only been 4 games for Jefferson. But the thing is that Jefferson has maybe him and maybe 10 other wide receivers in the league that can put up 35, 40 points in a game. I mean, he just has that raw ability, and there's not many that do have that big of a raw ability. I mean, what did he have? 3 of those 4 double-digit games were over 30 points. So I mean, when he does hit, he rocks.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's he's in DeAndre Hopkins type situation. He's going to crush for you, or he's not. It's half and half. But let's talk about Adam Thielen. It's not like he's that much different. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's got 5 games, 6 games. Well, one of those games, it wasn't really Justin Jefferson as the secondary. So it's not that much different. I mean, against Detroit, against Green Bay, Adam Thielen wasn't there. And those were games that were taken over by Dalvin Cook. And so that's again, that correlation standpoint. If they're crushing and giving him the ball and he's just running it down, Adam Thielen doesn't need to be there to move the chain. So,
which was the point of the conversation, was Thielen's my favorite guy as the one-off. Jefferson and Cook are my guys I'm playing together.
Yeah, and I mean, look, here's the other thing is that you're getting Thielen at a discount in ownership by about 50%, and there's no salary discount. Justin Jefferson at 16% that's just hard to stomach because of his on-off nature. It's obviously because of the matchup, but there are other tools in that offense. I mean, I'd rather almost pay for a Terry McLaurin, despite his drop in production or drop in involvement in the offense with Alex Smith. That offense is just seeing some weird games, and it's hard to kind of gauge how that's going to go moving forward. But there is no other wide receiver. Yeah, there's friend of the show, Logan Thomas, but there's no other wide receiver that is there to throw the ball to.
Mark, what are your last thoughts you're trying to wrap up before you finish off your lineups? Is there any spot you're particularly struggling with, any price range you're particularly struggling with? Have you got your defense locked in for the week?
Yeah. So my kind of, I love the punt the defense. So my punt this week is Cincinnati against Alex Smith. So that's where I'm leaning on defense. Other than that, no, I mean, looking at the ownerships and the positions, and I'm not really struggling anywhere. I'm kind of taking a second look now that I see Dalvin Cook is almost 50% owned. Outside of that, though, I think there's some values out there that can be grabbed, and I really have my running back. The word out of Detroit is Kerryon's getting all the third down snaps this week. He's going to be taking over. So he's only 4K. So if you really need to cut something in a GPP, Kerryon's a good play against Carolina, taking those DeAndre Swift snaps.
Yeah, my punt defense for the week is probably Denver. I looked at Cincinnati, but I just see that just going over their game logs and just seeing what they do, I just don't see a spot for them to get more than 4 or 5, maybe 6 points total, which I guess is fine if you're paying, was it 2,300, 2,400? It's not, It doesn't break you. But I like Denver a little bit more at home, at altitude, for like $100 more, same price. So if I'm going to punt, it's probably Denver for me.
Tua's first trip to Denver too.
I'm struggling a little bit in that like low to mid 4,000 range in the wide receivers. You got any favorites in there, guys?
4,000 range?
Yeah, like mid to low 4,000 range. When I need a spot, I'm having a hard time kind of getting to there. I like Curtis Samuel probably, but even a little cheaper than that.
I don't know. Teddy's officially out, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I'm not really a fan of Curtis Samuel.
Like Greg Ward, he was in my tipsy picks.
What's that?
Greg Ward was in my tipsy picks.
Greg Ward's okay. MVS is okay. It seems like him and Aaron Rodgers kind of patch things up.
Lazard is back this week, I believe.
I didn't play anybody down here, I'll be honest with you.
I mean, Michael Pittman, Brashad Perryman.
Yeah.
You got T.Y. Hilton, like that we talked about, Marvin Hall, Keelan Cole, Michael Gallup, down to A.J. Green. I think you have a lot of different options there. And it's okay to leave some salary on the table.
Definitely. Chris, where'd you end up on defenses? We always like to talk about defenses Sunday morning.
I agreed with you. I like Denver, but I also like Miami too. Like I'm actually going and betting the under on this game right now. That's something that I thought about yesterday.
If you look at my 20 lineups, I think 12 of them are Denver and 8 of them are Miami.
Yeah, those two. The one that I ended up with, because they're not, Denver and Miami are not on the early slate. So my early slate lineup ended up with Philadelphia a lot. Again, I have the money to pay for Pittsburgh, but I have a lot of Pittsburgh, Jacksonville stacks. So I don't know if it's wise to throw the defense into those. seems suboptimal, but that's a situation there. I really liked New Orleans defense, but with Lattimore being out, it's less of an interest for me at that point. But you look at these other teams like Baltimore, Tennessee, that's a weird game. I think that could pop off, or that could be real low scoring. It just depends on who's going to impose their will. So I'm not really interested in paying up for either of those. But like I said, I do have some salary, so there are some situations where I found myself with shares of those. But not interested in Detroit's defense. PJ Williams is awesome, man. Or PJ Walker rather. I mean, I don't have a problem with him.
XFL legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
We got a YouTube question. Yo, guys, hearing that Kerryon Johnson is going to split carries with AP, I'm struggling at running back. So do I start Johnson or Jamal Williams? I assume that's a season-long question. So in a seasonal league, I guess PPR doesn't really matter. Both those guys probably have the same PPR upside. So for me, it's kind of Jamal Williams here.
Yeah.
I don't trust Detroit unless I have to.
Yeah, in a season long, I think it's Jamal Williams.
I mean, for no good reason, they seem to involve Jamal Williams more than he should in any given week.
Yeah, I mean they're both kind of hit or miss. But I think Jamal Williams, you have a better shot of hitting.
Chris, any special thoughts there?
I mean, I probably lean towards Kerryon Johnson.
Fair enough. All right. Hope we helped you out there. 2 against 1. All right. So the last topic here, tight end. I already told you I'm mostly on Darren Waller this week. I just like the way that's set up. I liked the salary that I had because of the cheaper wide receivers, as we have talked about throughout the show this morning. And again, man, I mean, can we just go a week without recommending our boy in Washington? I don't think we can.
Nope. I have him loaded up in the vast majority of my lineups. Yeah. I love his salary, and
his salary is
Smith
great.
Likes him. So.
Smith loves to throw the tight end. I'm with you, man. Love it. Lock and load one more time. Who am I kidding? One more time. How many more weeks are there that we're covering sports? Every week.
Chris is so still. I thought his camera froze.
I'm just trying to find it. I was looking to officially see if Bridgewater was out. I mean, I'm seeing conflicting reports. I'm seeing that he's out.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing. Because I think that makes a huge difference in players like Curtis Samuel.
I don't think it makes a difference in Samuel. I think Samuel actually probably has benefited from him not playing because he's going to get some of those rushing touches, and that's a plus to him. But I need to know if am I playing Walker or not. Like that, it's a big deal for me.
Yes, yeah.
There it is. 27 seconds ago, Bridgewater is active.
Oh, that's too bad, man. I really wanted you to have a reason to buy that Walker jersey.
I wanted to play PJ.
Well, that definitely boosts the value of DJ Moore. So I was in some discussions earlier on Facebook with some people about DJ Moore, and I said that I downgraded him because of the quarterback situation, but put it back up there. Totally fine.
There you go.
I don't have much else,
just
guys.
Got the alert. Bridgewater is active.
I don't have much else here, guys. My in-laws are out in the driveway, social distance. Hello. So I am going to let you guys finish up here. But thank you for coming on in the morning, and I'm sure the chat room will be highly entertaining with who can report the first touchdown and whatnot. And we'll see you Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think I'm good too. Unless you have any last-minute thoughts, Chris.
Nope. Took down another League of Legends GPP last night, though.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
But it was a chop, so it was only like $400.
Right. I was in like third place in the dollar MMA event last night after I had the first 3 underdogs picked, and then I got like 100 points, 97 points, 95 points for my first 3 fighters, and then I finished with 5-9 in like 32 in the last 3 fighters. So
yeah,
I was excited for a minute.
Yeah, when you get to like the 5th and like you're waiting for that 6th one, man, that's when the sweat really comes in. And if you have to wait like a couple fights, just builds up. Those are probably one of my favorite ones. But
watching MMA alone just makes me sit here like this. And then when you've got money on it, man, ooh, it's uncomfortable. You almost just don't watch and just like go to bed and wake up the next morning and look because it's like stressful to watch.
Yeah,
for sure.
All
right, guys.
well,
Best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon. Again, you can find us on Draft for Upside. You can find us at fantasyfootballblueprint.com, YouTube, Facebook. We're everywhere. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.